落魄谷中寒风吹，春秋蝉鸣少年归。荡魂山处食人泪，定仙游走魔向北。逆流河上万仙退，爱情不敌坚持泪。宿命兼程命中败，仙尊毁，而我不悔。
Fang Yuan quietly hand over the Spring Autumn Cicada. I'll give you a quick death. Old bastard Fang, stop attempting to resist anymore. Today, all of the major factions of justice have combined together just to destroy your devil lair. This place is already covered in inescapable mess. This time, you will definitely be decapitated. Fang Yuan was in deep green robes that had been torn to shreds. His hair was disheveled, and his entire body was covered in blood. He looked around. Enemies surrounded him all around. There was already no way out. Looking at the setting sun, Fang Yuan lightly laughed. The sun sets above the blue mountain. The autumn moon with the wind of spring. The morning is fun like hair and night is like snow. Whether you succeed or fail, when you look back there's nothing left. As he said this, memories of his previous life on Earth emerged before his eyes. He was originally a Chinese scholar on Earth who chanced upon this world. He endured a hard life for 300 years and went through another 200 years. About over 500 years of his life flew by in the blink of an eye. It is said in legend that a river of time exists in this world. It supports the world's time flow and circulation. And by using the Spring Autumn Cicada's power, one can travel back upstream and return to the past. Here is much conflicting opinion on this mythical tale. Many do not believe in it, and some are skeptical to the truth, because every time one uses the Spring Autumn Cicada, one must pay with his life, letting his entire body and cultivation be the driving force to use its power. I failed in the end. Fang Yuan sighed in his heart emotionally. He took out the cicada and threw it towards the crowd. If the Spring Autumn Cicada that I have just cultivated is effective, I shall still be a demon in my next life. With this thought, Fang Yuan couldn't help but let out a big laugh. The group of warlords surged forward. At this moment, with a loud bang, Fang Yuan was engulfed in a blinding surge of energy. At this moment, fragments of memories from the river of time emerged in his mind. He realized that in this world, when he was only 3 years old, he and his little brother became orphans. In the name of upbringing, his aunt and uncle grabbed hold of the inheritance left behind by his parents while inflicting harsh treatment against his younger brother and himself. His younger brother was beaten to death by his uncle just because he stole some food. Fang Yuan begged for mercy from his aunt that their family never treated their brothers as human beings. He originally planned to just be a normal person, even planning to conceal his abilities and bide his time. However, his life was difficult, making Fang Yuan have no choice but to choose to expose some of his talents. With this, he managed to startle people and capture attention. Because of pressure from the outside world, the young Fang Yuan made a decision to keep a cold, indifferent expression to protect himself, reducing the possibility of revealing any secrets. Over time, the coldness would become a habit that he was accustomed to expressing. This also led to a growing estrangement between him and his younger brother. As the smoke and dust dissipated, only a huge pit remained where Fang Yuan stood. Some people are horrified to say that if the legend of the Spring and Autumn Cicada is true, then this demon will once again bring disaster to the people. The spring rain quietly rained down on King Ma Mountain. In the middle of the Guyu village was a magnificent pavilion. A grand ceremony was being held at this moment, and the lights were even brighter than ever, radiating with glory. The head of the Guyu clan had a middle-aged appearance. His sideburns were green, and he was clothed in ceremonial white robes, kneeling on the brownish yellow floor. His body was straight with his hands held together, as tightly shut as he prayed sincerely. Ancestors, please bless us. We pray that this ceremony will bring many young men of outstanding talent and intelligence, bringing their families new blood and hopes. Behind him were over 10 people kneeling in a similar fashion as him. They wore loose white ceremonial garments, and were all the clan's elders, important members, and those who had much authority. When the ceremony was over, the crowd of people slowly got up from the ground and silently walked out of the sacred temple. In the hallway, the atmosphere loosened up. The noise of discussion slowly rose. Time flies too quickly. In the blink of an eye, a year has gone by. The previous ceremony feels like it just happened yesterday. I can still recall it vividly. The Bai village, Zhong village, these few years all had some talented geniuses appear. Especially the Bai Ningbing from the Bai clan. His natural talent is quite terrifying. Bai Ningbing's qualifications were splendid. In just a short period of 2 years worth of training, he had already reached the level of a level 3 Gu master. But for this year's youth that will be participating in the ceremony, not all hope is lost. You're right, Fang's side has appeared a young genius. Able to start talking after 3 months, able to walk after 4. At 5 years of age, he was able to recite poetry. Seems exceptionally intelligent, especially talented. What a pity that his parents died early. Now he is being raised by his uncle and aunt. The Guyu clan head was the last to walk out of the ancestral temple. After slowly closing the door, he heard the discussions that were going on in the corridor among the clan elders. He knew at once that the elders were discussing about the youth known as Yue Fang Yuan at that moment. If this child shows a great potential, with great care he could even compete against Ban Bing. At once, with a cough he faced the clan elders and said, "Everyone, the hour is late. For tomorrow's opening ceremony, you should all rest well tonight. However, I'm going to go ahead and say what needs to be said first. When you compete, do it fair and square, or damage to the clan's unity. Please keep this in mind, all of you. We'll keep it in mind." The clan elders slowly dispersed with deep thoughts. Not long after that, the long corridor became quiet. The wind from the spring rain breathed through the window, and the clan head lightly walked towards the window. This was the third floor of the garret. The clan head looked out of the window. He could see half of the entire Guyu village. This is the hopes for the clan's future, with the many lights dancing in his eyes. The clan head sighed. At the very same moment, a pair of clear eyes are full of complex feelings inside. Guyu village, this is 500 years ago. Looks like the Spring Autumn Cicada really worked. Fang Yuan quietly gazed, standing by the window, letting the rain from the wind hit his body. With the power of the Spring Autumn Cicada, I have been reborn, going back to the time of 500 years ago. Fang Yuan stretched out his hand, his sight fixated on his own yang and soft, pale palms, then slowly clenched them, embracing the truth of his reality with all his might. 500 years of experience. It really feels like a dream, that he knew it clearly. This was definitely not a dream. It's just a pity about the Spring Autumn Cicada thought it did not come with me, but it's okay. With 500 years worth of memories and experience, I will definitely be able to make a comeback. At this moment, the door to his room was lightly pushed open, and a young teenager walked in. "Big brother, why are you standing in the rain by the window side?" As Fang Yuan turned his head to look at this young man, a complicated look flickered across his face. "It's Yue Fang, my twin little brother." He raised his eyebrows, his expression returning to that of cold indifference. Fang Sang lowered his head and looked at his own toes. This is his signature stance. Fang Yuan said coldly, "It's unnecessary. You can leave." Fang Sang was startled by his brother's indifference, although his brother has always been like this. Fang Sang still cannot get used to it. Fang Sang sometimes thinks, perhaps this is the difference between genius and mortals. Born to a mother, he is ordinary like an ant, but his brother is excellent like the stars in the sky. Why is heaven so unfair when they have the same face? Sometimes when he looked in the mirror, Fang Sang actually just like this face. Fang Yuan understood what his brother was thinking, that his poor brother could not see the truth. He was not only cheated by his uncles and aunts, but also harbored resentment against his brother. Don't be fooled by his obedience and honesty now. Once he is tested for a first-class qualification and vigorously cultivated by the family, all the jealousy and resentment of Fang Sang will be released and vented on his brother.